you are watching maybe I'll say a Hollywood movie, and sometimes you see the Hollywood movie will some maybe at the end whenever maybe there's a plot twist, you would inside of you you start feeling emotional, you start feeling like really, I'll just let me just use the word emotional, and you may feel that you want to cry. All right, it is not just the visuals that you are watching, that you're watching, that is making you feel that way. It is the sound, the particular type of sound that is being used on you on that film, that is triggering your emotion. You know, is either you're sad, you're happy, or you are crying, or you are angry. All right, you can be tensed at the same time. All right, so all of this is, all right, is what sounds can, can really do to your emotions. All right, while you're watching a film. So if you understand it, then producing it for the audience, for your audience, um will help you, all right, to really get into the heart of your viewers. All right, understanding what sound contributes is the foundation of every great production. All right, understanding what sound contributes, it contributes immensely. You can imagine you are watching a 20th Century Fox montage. All right, and it it's, it is a montage. I think it went for about um, 10 seconds. Now, watching it without sound, all right, will not really give you what they are trying to depict to you. You will see a 3D animation that has lights over it and all that and all that. And then it will not really tell you what you are, what the producers is trying to depict to you. But once the sound comes in, the sound that we know, the what do I how do I say it, the household name for 20th Century Fox, that it tells you, hey, we are in the 20th century, this is a 20th century production. All right, so welcome, we are welcoming you to it. All right, like a fanfare, is a fanfare sound production. That's what it is called. If you go to your YouTube and you type fanfare, um, you are going to see lots and lots of fanfare sounds that you will really understand. That will help you understand what the 20th Century Fox production, which I think is owned by Warner Bros., are trying to tell you. All right. So we go forward to the information, who, where, when, and what, the emotion, the mood, feeling, and meaning, world building, the atmosphere, and realism. All right. Um, this also comes in the maybe if you're watching sci-fi movies, the type of sound, the way I would say the way Hollywood depicts the sound, will brings out the realism of the sci-fi movie you are watching, which is very important. All right. Story beyond the frame. We'll look beyond the frame of the story. All right, which is the sound. All right, the rhythm. We are going to go through the pacing and the tension. All right. Sometimes this has to do with timing and BPMs. All right. This is the tempo that determines how fast and how slow a sound should be. All right. That's the pacing and the tension. It's what's projected. Okay. So we're moving over to the next slide. Here, sound carries information. True. The sound tells us who is speaking, where we are, what is happening outside the frame, the time of day, the mood of a place, hidden threats, and character presence before appearance. All right. In some movie, we call it Easter eggs. All right. If you're familiar with a lot of movies, be it Hollywood, be it Nollywood, be it Bollywood, all right, uh, you would know what Easter eggs are. All right. So some sounds actually give you hints on hidden threats or the character presence before appearance, or hidden items or hidden gems. There are always Easter eggs in every movie. They are almost all there's always like there's always something the producer or the director is trying to let you know or to show you maybe that you are not seeing. They will use there and they will now use sound, all right, to depict that for you. All right, being smart, you could, you know, pick it up. All right, like this example, a door creaks before someone enters. All right, we feel suspense before we see anything, because this you're going to we the sound engineer will project this before the frame of the actor that actually opens the door would will be displayed. All right, now that is storytelling through sound. All right. It is either a pre or post sound in every frame or scene. All right. This is important. All right. The next slide we have sound shapes emotions. For motion graphic animators like myself as well. We have, you know, we morph shapes. You can create a square, you can create a rectangle, you can create a sphere, which is a circle. All right. And then you morph from the square to the rectangle to the circle, because you're trying to let the 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 consumer or your audience to understand something. You're trying to tell them something using shapes. All right. So same goes to sound. Whenever a particular sound starts playing, the mood changes. You understand it? All right. Music, ambience, silence, and tone can completely change meaning. All right. The music, which is the primary sound you usually hear, which you are accustomed with. The ambience, a lot of people do not know this, but ambience is actually a skill in sound engineering or sound production. Around me, as you hear my voice, you not just hear my voice, there are other sounds that you are picking up. You are picking up ambience, maybe a car sound, a door screech, some background voices, some other little voice, other little sounds that can be that tells some people or your audience, okay, this is the kind of place that this scene is taking place. All right, it's very important to understand it. Ambience. Ambience is the surrounding sound. All right, it is the surrounding sound. If you took a shot in the forest, for example, and you just recorded the video and the audio of the actor who is, the actors that were dialoguing with each other, and there was no recorded ambience. All right, ambient sound can be produced in a studio using tools like Cubase, which is a music production software. All right, like Logic, which is also a music production software. You can also download maybe from free stocks. All right. can make your um work easier or maybe faster, depending on what you're trying to depict. So the ambience is very important because it tells your audience, hey,
Every
um, it tells your audience that okay, this is where this is taking place. All right. In Hollywood movies, we they use this ambience in sound engineering often, and because it gives off this imagination, this imagination image. All right. This you're even if you're not looking at the screen, because of the ambience, your mind will paint a picture of where that scene is taking place. This is apart from the music. The ambience does this because it tells you, okay, this is beside the riverbank. They will put that ambient sound of the riverbank, maybe the water flowing sound, birds, the air. All these things will be added into it. All right, and then in some places there's also pausing, which is where silence comes in. All right, it creates tension. All right, when a particular sound is playing, and then at a particular time, because you want to, you know, create an impulse in your audience, you silence that particular sound before it gets to the all right the stomp part. Is These are skills, these are very important. And then the tone of which the sounds can be, you have the upper tone, the mid tone, and the lower tone. All right, so it's important to understand the kind of tones you are using. All right. Maybe in the music production we call it a high pitch, mid pitch, lower pitch. All right. The same goes for tones. Okay. This can completely change the meaning in the in that it shapes the emotion and change the meaning of every sound or of the footage or a movie. All right. This is important that you understand how sound shapes emotions. All right. The same image carries entirely different emotional weight depending on the sound layered beneath it. A boy walking home, sad music, tragic. All right. A boy walking home, he may be walking home happy. You can choose to use a happy sound. All right. It might be maybe sad. That's where you use the tragic, that the emotional dampening sound. A same image, you can use triumphant music, victory. Maybe he's happy, he just won a lottery or won tickets to see a show or something, or all right, or he won a scholarship. That's where you could also apply the victory sound effect. Or you can use a fanfare, like I said before. Fanfare sounds depicts victory, depicts success, triumph. All right, it depicts progress. All right, the same image, it can be a horror drums or maybe a threatening scene. That is where you use low tones, threatening scenes, danger scenes. All right, this has to do with low tones, or if it is a music production, you can call it the lower octave. That is where you bring out the danger. All right, the suspense that the danger is ahead or the danger is here. All right, so this really shapes the emotions. This entirely changes and shapes the emotions of your scene. All right. All right. Let's move over to the next slide. Okay. Sound builds words. Sound builds words. Sound makes words believable. A village scene may need birds, insects, distant market noise, footsteps on dust, and wind in trees. Now, these are talking about ambience, what I said earlier. Ambience, a village setting. The camera shot has been taken, the voice has been taken. You can also use your microphone to take to record the ambient setting of the market, women, to the maybe birds or trees or footsteps of people, or cling sounds like metal cling sound, clamping sounds, all right, people selling fruits and all that, and also voices of people, languages, all right. Because if your audience takes his eyes or her eyes away from the screen, he or she can still be able to tell that this particular scene is taking place in a part in a location like the market, all right, or maybe a football field, all right. Without them, the scene feels dead and unconvincing, all right. To tell you the truth, like a lot of our producers don't do this. A lot of our sound engineers ignore ambience most of like a majority of the time. They ignore it, and in doing that, they fail to give off the emotion the scene was was supposed to give out. All right. So it's important we understand what that sound builds the world around this. All right. So it says here the background sound is called the ambient sound or room tone. That's a secondary name you can call it. It is the invisible glue that holds a scene together. When the ambience is layered, and then the music will be layered on top of it, and then the voice of the actors, their dialogue will be layered on top of it with the visual. This creates that world that you want your audience to see and feel. All right, is important. It is called ambient sound or room tone. It is that invisible glue. It glues everything together. All right. So that is it. We move over to the next slide.
Beyond
Sound beyond the
the
frame.
frame.
Sound beyond the frame. What we hear but don't see. Gunshots off screen. Baby crying in another room. Thunder before rain appears. Crowd approaching before visible. All these things are telling you this is if I would say another, like if I'll put it like a secondary, a more advanced ambient setting. Okay, so it still has to do with ambience, the gunshots of the screen. All right, and when the gunshot is done, the actor may turn around and then you see the shooter. Okay, and baby crying in another room. This ambient sound is usually used in a way that we call it panning. To pan is to tell is maybe if a baby is crying in another room, of course the sound will not be centered. All right, it could be coming from the left, from the far left, or from the far right. All right, and there is something called a room reverb. It's if the baby's if the let me say the baby the baby's voice or the baby crying audio sound that you have is dry, and you want to add a room tone to that sound to let the audience or your audience know that actually, hey, this baby is crying from a distant room or the next room. You will use something called a preset called room reverb. ROOM, room reverb. All right, and then you pan the sound to the far right, depending on where you want the particular scene is supposed to take place. That is either from the far left or the far right. All right. The thunder before the rain appears, can come up in anywhere. All right. It might also be from the far left or from the far right. You can pan it in either way to give off that feeling that you want the audience to have. The crowd approaching before it is visible. All right. Crowd sounds is a surround sound. Okay. Crowd sound is a surround sound because it carries both the panning from the left, the panning from the right. It deals with multiple people. All right. So you can't really, it is not advisable to technically pan it to the right or pan it to the left. It's not advisable. It is unprofessional in sound engineering. All right. So the crowd sound is always centered. Why this matters? Sound explains cinematic spaces or space. It allows filmmakers to imply action, danger, and environment without showing everything. A powerful and economical storytelling tool. It is a powerful and economical storytelling tool, which with sound being engineered properly, uh, it is maybe economical, and it is also powerful. All right, because it's if you understand your dynamics of sound engineering, you can actually use it to scale through some difficult areas you might find yourself while you are working on your sounds, and something that might take maybe 1,000 naira will now may take you about 200 naira or 100 or 50 naira as the case may be. So it is economical if you understand the dynamics of the sounds, where to place them, where to get them, how to produce them, okay, and how to layer them very well. All right. And also understand the volume dynamics, which one is supposed to be higher or lower than the other one. It helps to create that atmosphere, ambience that you want. Okay. All right. The next slide. Rhythm, pacing, and tension. Rhythm, pacing, and tension. Editing rhythm often follows sound, dialogue pace, footsteps, music pulse, and silence before impact. Before impact all control how an audience experiences time. These are all pulsed, maybe heartbeats. You can use this techniques. Maybe I can use let me use a horror movie for an instance. When you watch a horror movie, you know how it makes you feel. All right. That when a particular footsteps is coming, is being placed, your imagination automatically tells you, oh, this is the protagonist or the evil person, or the maybe the main actor, or is not, or maybe um an unknown uh actor that the producer wants to present at a particular time. So the music pause and the silence before that impact, you know introduces a stomp, an impact on your mind. All right. So which will create that tension that is actually required that the producer or the engineer requires the audience to feel. Okay. Sound controls tension. A well placed silence before a dramatic moment can be more powerful than any music cue. I talked about this um, in the ambient section when we were talking about how to place the speed. All right. The speed, uh, uh, that's the timing, how fast or how slow sounds can be. It helps to really create that pure tension, all right, that is required for a different kind of that is required for the scene that you need. All right. So it is more powerful than any music cue. It can be a sound FX, which is the SFX. All right. It can be a riser. There's a sound called the riser that makes that creates tension before impact. It starts from a lower tone to a higher tone. This you can download uh, from stock sounds websites, and you can also create them using sound production softwares like Cubase. Cubase is Cubase. All right, Cubase. You can look it up. Is well, it was designed by a company called Steinberg. All right, they have been around since I think since 1987, 1988, something like that. So it's very good. All right, to the next slide. Types of sound and dialogue. What dialogue does reveals character. Now we are dealing with the characters here. Reveals character, advance plot, conveys conflict, provides information, creates subtext. A good dialogue recording must be clear, natural, intelligible, and free from noise. So you now understand why you have when you record, you have to record a clean dialogue without noise, because a dialogue that has the full ambient sound in it is likened to noise. That means noise have infiltrated the dialogue. It is not pure and clean. So a dialogue recording has to be neat, clean, then the ambient sound will be recorded differently. So you can place these two. All right, you can layer these two. Okay, pro tip, you can record while recording your dialogue scene. At the same time, you can be recording your ambience sound at the same time using another microphone or shotgun or a boom mic, as you may call it. All right, poorly recorded dialogue is the most common and most damaging audio problem in student productions. Even improved productions, it is the most damaging because sometimes a scene will be wrapped, a movie will be wrapped, and then in post production, the post production editors will start going through damaged audio problems. It is a very huge disaster because you can't go back. You can't go back to start calling the actors, the cameras, the scene, the props, and everything. You can't spend that kind of money. All right. Again, all right. That is what we said earlier. If you have a poor sound production, a damaged sound production, it may result in you being arrested or or being detained, something like that. It is not nice at all. So you must take note of this in every recording. That is why this pro tip will help. After recording any movie section, it is important you review them, you preview them, you play them back immediately before the next recording. So you will know if the sound you actually recorded is pure, is good or not. You can call the continuity or the production manager on set or any other manager on set, or the production manager will suffice for all, to tell them, hey, this sound was not is bad. We didn't take it very well. Please, let's retake the scene. Why it is still on track? It helps cut out damages, future damages. All right, and enables workflow. All right. To the next slide. Um, types of sound. Now we are dealing with music. Diegetic sound music. This is where the character hears it. Example, a radio playing in the scene. It exists within the story world and adds realism. Maybe you recorded a scene, maybe a car scene, or somebody who is driving. Your actor is driving in a car and towards another location for another scene. And you have the ambience inside the car, you have the voice, you have the shots being taken. All right. And you want to advance, the sound. You want to, create that diegetic music. Maybe that was not recorded while the movie, that scene was being shot. This is where you need that diegetic sound, like the radio. This you can record separately on your own using small tools like your phone. Phone comes with good, since modern phones comes with good recording systems, and you can use your boom mics, you can use your condenser mics in the studio, you can also use pin-up mics and record a radio dialogue. All right. Maybe you want the actor uh, to be listening, depending on the kind of film, movie. All right. Maybe you want the actor to be listening to global news. All right. You can record something with your equipment, with your recording tools, and then, or you could find a stock sound to download and work on it, convert it into using radio plugins to convert it into a radio program. All right, give it a grunge sound. The radio programs always comes with this grunge sounds. All this, they are called grunge sounds. All right, like where a vinyl is playing. A vinyl always makes the grunge sounds. All right, so you could add that up on the radio, and then you can take that sound and place it on the scene on the radio. Reduce the volume as the case may be. You can pan it to either the right or the left, depending on where the actor is seated. If the actor is seated in the on the left, you pan it to the right. If the actor is seated on the left and the right, you pan it to the left. So it's very important. Non-diegetic music. The audience hears it, but character do not. This is the film score used for emotion, suspense, momentum, theme, and character identity. All right. You can think of scores by Hans Zimmer or John Williams. Music can lead to emotion before dialogue does. Is important. We also, talked about that on the previous slide. All right. So sound scores is very important. Sound scores means that is a post-production practice, work, job. When you are watching the movie after production, it has been cut and all that, and then while watching, you as a sound engineer or sound producer, you tune yourself into that scene using your imagination to understand the right sound that will, add that emotion that is required for the scene. All right. That's sound scoring, understanding the time, the beginning, and the end. All right. While designing the sound for that scene, you understand the timing and how you want to place them, design them, place them there, reduce the volume as you want or increase as you may want. And there you go. You will have the perfect emotion on that scene. All right. That will help for the with the dialogue. It is maybe after or before or during the dialogue. All right. Okay. The next slide. Types of sound. I told you earlier, we have SFX. I said it earlier. SFX and Foley. Now, Foley, this I've not talked about that. That's why we are going to talk about it here. Sound effects or SFX created or captured sounds, door slams, punches, footsteps, rain, fire, vehicles. Some recorded live, others added in post production. All right. Foley recreates everyday sounds in post production, clothes movements, footsteps, key, breathing, object handling, named after pioneer Jack Foley. He is actually the one that introduced the Foley method in filmmaking. All right. The ambient sound, also called atmosphere, cricket, traffic, classroom murmurs, ocean waves, makes cuts feel smooth and realistic. Sound effects or SFX or the Foley, they are all under the ambient sound. Okay. It gives off that feel, that realism that is needed for every um, scene. All right, so the next slide. How sound affects emotions. How sound affects emotions. Sound influences fear, joy, grief, anticipation, wonder, and suspense. Filmmakers use specific sonic tools to trigger emotional response in audience, like the pitch is a high shape tone, creates tension, or any high tune or high pitch sound, it creates that sharp tension. Low drone signal threats, like like a siren or a fire sound that is breaking out. These are high pitch sounds. All right. And the tempo, fast tempo creates urgency. That is, the tempo is how fast or how slow a sound is. It is common knowledge for music producers and sound designers. The tempo, it is it means how fast and how slow is. If you look at the image for the tempo, the icon that is being used for the tempo is a clock icon that goes like this. That is a tempo. Clock, 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 clock. If it is faster, it will give you that. If you make it click, 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 it depends. It's what it does. It carries the speed of the sound of the sound. All right. So the fast tempo creates urgency. Slow tempo invites reflection, sadness, or anger, or sometimes danger too. All right. Or in some cases, victory, happiness. Depends on the kind of happiness. All right. Volume. Loud sounds creates shock. Quiet sounds create intimacy. All right. Loud sounds create shocks, and this loud sound doesn't mean that the volume should be like high or that. No, 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 no. It is we're talking about impact. They are impact sounds. All right. As a sound designer, whenever you go over to, if you go over and you search for impact sounds, you will understand what's loud sound. The shock, the sounds that create shock, is always loud, but it doesn't distort or overlap dialogues. It doesn't do that. All right. Silence. Removing sound can increase tensions dramatically. Silence before tragedy often hits harder than music. Very true. Very uh, organic. It creates uh, that pause before the impact. All right. Is a very strategy. Is a very good strategy to use while you are designing your sound or you are in post production. Okay. To the next scene. Silence can be the most powerful sound of all, depending on the video or the film you are working on. Removing sound at the right moment increases tension more dramatically than any music cue. Silence before tragedy often hits harder than the most carefully composed score, which we talked about earlier. This is important. This is a reflection. If this was a movie, I'll be playing a reflection sound for you now. But of course, I'll be talking slow for the reflection to actually take place. Like I'm imagining things, I'm using my imagination to talk without moving my mouth, of course. All right. So the next slide. What is audio recording? Audio recording is capturing sound as an electrical or digital signal for playback. It involves a source, voice, environment, or music. A microphone, which often is a condenser mic. You can research condenser mic. Your boom mic is a condenser mic. Your studio mics are condenser mics. Okay. Some of the pin-up mics are condenser mics. So a recorder, which the uh, the microphone transmits to, storage, the memory, and the monitoring. That's the real time preview of your recordings. While you are recording, you are monitoring what you are recording to target damages or sharp distortions that may occur during um, recording. All right. So the icons here depict what these are: sound waves. You see the way they look, the microphones and the recorder and the editor. All right. To the next slide. Good sound versus poor sound. Good sound is clear and balanced. Fair enough. Free from distortion. Very important. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people cannot even depict whether a sound has distortion or not. That is why we have something called a limiter or a digital sound indicator that depicts where how if a sound is distorted or not. If it clips to the red point, that means distortion. If it doesn't, stays somewhere around below 15 or 16 in volume, that is um, um, from the scale of 1 to 20, about below 16 is or 15 is fine. It will give you will be free and safe from distortion. Natural and consistent, very, because it has to flow. It has to be fluid. All right. Pause sound may have hum, hiss, and buzz. Buzz is distortion. Hiss is a sharp, high tone sound, which can be likened to a white noise. We call it white noise in some cases. Hum is a low octave buzz, a low tone buzz, which can also be likened to um, a distortion, but in a lower tone. It can overlap as well. Echo and distortion. Okay, the echoes are the, as is maybe if you're recording in a warehouse, a tunnel, uh, how do I put it? Yeah, in a warehouse or maybe in a large room, it's would most definitely have echoes, reverbs as we call it in sound production. All right, you must be very vigilant and aware, that you are not supposed to record echoes or distortions. It's not good. Echoes can be added in post production, not in pre production. It's never ever advisable. Clipping, wind noise, or traffic bleed. Traffic bleed and hiss is almost the same thing, because when the white noise comes in, if it bleeds and the buzz, of course, that's the distortion, it bleeds, it overlaps. All right. It overlaps above the the it overlaps above the dialogue voices. All right. It's very bad. Good recording starts during capturing. Very important, not in editing. You have to make sure before you kill your yourself while you are in in post production. You cannot fix what you did not recorded properly. If it is not recorded properly, forgive me for that. If it is not recorded properly, you can't go back to the scene. You can't bring out the props. Money has been spent. All right. Actors has been paid. A lot of things has been done. So a voice is sound engineer. You are in one of the most you'll be in one of the most vital positions, and one of the most scary positions at the same time. All right. So if you're not careful, you might lose out or get yourself in trouble. So you have to make sure, having all this in mind, you make sure that that doesn't happen. Okay. Signal. The next slide. Signal versus noise. A signal high. A signal, the wanted sound, voice, music, effect. Always maximize this. High signal, the wanted sound, voice, music, effects. Always maximize this. It's important that you take note of the high signals, that is the high frequency or the high end in in a in a in a in an equalizer chart. All right, low noise, low signal, low end. The unwanted noise, sound, hum, hiss, echo, always minimize this. All right, very important. You must learn to hear noises before recording. You must train your ear. Like currently where I am aware of every sound that is playing around me. The weak sound from the fan, uh, the road, the car sounds, the air, the fans. All right, and background noises, voices. All right, and every other sound that comes up, I am aware. I've trained myself for years to understand it. It must not take you years. It is an act you have to train yourself deliberately, consciously. All right. So you must train yourself to hear noises before recording them and identify each noise of what is making it, where it's coming from which angle. Walk into any space and listen critically before pressing record is important. When you walk into the scene, you have to listen to everything there. Turn up the mic, turn on your microphone, put on your headphone, turn on the monitor, and you start monitoring every sound that is in the room. It is important before recording, or you may also get yourself in trouble, and police may not be your friend. Okay, common noise sources: mechanical, human, and environmental. Mechanical can come from fans, like I told you, generators, air conditions, bad air conditions, phone interferences. Yes, very important. Human, clothing rustles, handling noise, people talking nearby. All right. Environmental, wind, traffic, and room echo. All right. This is these are source of noises that we have here on this planet. All right. Of course, you can categorize this and put other ones beneath it. All right. But everything comes from this major category, these three major category. All right. Next slide. Mono versus stereo recording. What is mono audio and what is a stereo? Some people don't understand it, but some do as well. So mono is actually, it means single channel, or mono means single or one. All right. Um, Someone is talking. Please, can you mute your microphone, please? Sorry. Mono is a single channel where sound appears from one source. Simple, focused, and often ideal for dialogue recording. A centered voice in mono is clean and direct. It is the center is one. While stereo is a two channel, that is your speaker, your right and left. All right. It creates width and space, better for atmosphere, music, and environmental recording. Rain in stereo feels surrounding. In mono, it feels flat. Crowd in stereo feels surrounding. Like when I told you about crowds, you can't pan it to the right or the left because it is a stereo audio. It has to do with the people in the people voices from the right and voices from the left. Okay, it's very important to note this down because it helps very much in pre-production, in production, and also in post-production. All right, a boom mic or a microphone. Let me give an example, like this one here. A microphone records mono and transmits stereo. Is a single input and it transmits in a dual output. All right, that is where you get your stereo. All right. So example of a mono sound recording is a microphone. By the way, it is a condenser mic. Okay, condenser mic. You can write that down. Okay, the next slide. Practical activities. This We are now in a practical session. All right. Number one, mute scenes. Watch a scene with sound, then mute it. Discuss what disappeared emotionally and what story often was lost. All right. Like when I explained about 20th Century Fox montage when you're watching a Hollywood movie. If the montage is playing without the sound, it's feels like nothing. But when the sound comes in, you there's that feeling. It tells you what you are being welcomed into, who produced this, what their intentions are, all right, and the kind of informations or the kind of level they are operating in is important. Sound, creates these things in scenes. Sound number two, sound identification. Identify dialogue, music, sound effects, and ambience in a film clip. Okay. Um, in a movie clip, you 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 need to know how to identify dialogue, which is the voices of the actors, the music. That's the music. That's the maybe it can be the theme music. All right, or it can be the first theme music or the secondary theme music. Sound effects, the SFX, the swoosh, the high rising, the scary sounds, or the gunshots, or door slams, as the case may be. The ambience, which we talked about, which is the surround sound of what is going on around, which depicts what kind of scene you are watching. All right. Number three, quiet and noisy. Record the same voice in a quiet room and a noisy environment. Compare quality. If you record, I can use an example. If you record, you can do this. You can record your song and maybe use a restroom, for example, and then you come out to the living room and you record the same thing. And then you go over to the staircase, you record the same thing, and go outside and record the same thing. You will notice the difference in sound quality. All right. You notice the difference in sound quality. You have to practicalize this. All right. It gives off every position and every scene and environment you find yourselves gives off a different ambience or a different sound. Outdoor in the environment, voice travels far, but in an enclosed environment, the voice doesn't travel much. It is being closed in. So if you have you are recording your sound with your microphone in an enclosed place, your microphone actually does well because it will pick the entire vocal weight from the high frequency to the mid frequency and to the lower frequency. It will pick all of them out. None will escape it. All right. It will grab, it will pick them up. But in an outdoor, in outside, in an outdoor environment, sound travels. All right, because sound travels through air. So the microphone will be able to pick up this high, mid, and low ranges, but at the same time, the level of which it picks up differs. All right. So you have to understand it, practicalize and understand it, and see it for yourself, hear it for yourself. Okay. And now number four, mono and stereo. Record the mono and record a stereo ambience. Using some softwares like Cubase and your video editing tools, Um, they always have this knob where you can turn on turn on each particular channel to a mono or a stereo, or you can use a mono and stereo tester. There's a web app for it. You can check it on Google. There's a mono and a stereo tester online where you can upload a sound and then turn on a mono, play it back with your headphone on, of course. You will hear what mono is like. Technically, you hear it in one ear of the speaker, of the headphone, or just if you're using a speaker, one of the speakers or one part of the headphone. When you turn on the stereo, it will be split into two. So you can now hear the audio in both ears. All right. So practicalize this and get it understood. All right. The next slide. Microphone and audio equipment. We're going to look at how your microphone is your audience ears. Your microphone is your audience ears, of course. That is what you want your audience to hear, your dialogue, your ambience, your footwork, or any other thing. All right. Place it badly, the audience suffers. Use it well, the audience forgets it exists and just enjoy the show. That is good sound. So placing your microphone is important. The placement. That is why during recording, the microphone is not doesn't move recklessly. All right. During recording, the microphone doesn't move recklessly. It does not. It is steady. All right. Compacted to avoid wind, noise, white noise. All right. uh, From infiltrating the recording. So when you're watching a Hollywood movie, of course, you don't, or Nollywood movies, be it which company that is producing, once the sound is placed well while you're watching the movie, you don't really care about how the sound is recorded. What you are enjoying, what you'll be doing is to enjoying the show, is to enjoy the show. So you basically enjoy the show. But when there's a bad sound, you won't help it but notice, like hey, what is going on? Oh, no, no, no. Hey, why is that sound there? Why is that there? That is not supposed to be there. Oh my God, this they are you know making this show. Uh, 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 how do I put it? The show is no longer enjoyable or something like that. All right, it will make the show zero fun to watch. So that's how the your your audience will suffer if your microphone is placed badly. To the next scene. To the next slide. Sorry. Uh, Learning objectives. Topic 2. 1. Microphone type. Identify major microphone types and their characteristics. I'll show you. I have 2 microphones which I'm going to show you. Um, this is a pin-up mic. It's usually used during podcasts, some interviews. Yeah, podcast is also an interview, of course. So this is a pin-up mic. All right. And this, which I showed you earlier, is also a microphone. Is a condenser mic. Hmm? If you notice, this is bigger than this. Okay, this microphone is bigger than this pinup. This is what? This is the how to identify what's this bigger microphone does. The bigger microphone, because it is wide in its receptors, are bigger. All right. The receptors of these microphones are bigger. So it will receive bigger or heavier voices in it, while the smaller microphones will receive less voices than the bigger microphones because it has small receptors in it. Not that it's bad. No, it's not. It will still give out good quality. But the bigger microphone will be heavier than this. So when you are watching some podcast shows, you might see some podcasters using this one. Apart from this one, it is a thing of choice. Not that they are bad; they are not. They just do they receive sounds differently. All right, and also it also depends on budget. All right, your budget will determine which one you will get or not. All right, number two, choose proper microphone for different recording situations. Also, depending on the kind of situation you find yourself in as a sound engineer, or you are supposed to identify which microphone does what. All right, like I explained, the bigger condenser mics condenses large volume or weight of sound, and the smaller ones, all right, gives out receives a lesser amount of voices or sound. Okay. Number three, connect basic audio gear correctly. Okay. This is can be simple, but also important that you that you um get to see a small a, practical. All right. I will show you something. This, yeah, this is a receiver, is a pinup mic receiver. All right. This receiver is connected via wires. All right. This is a pinup mic receiver. And this, let me start from this one. Oh, okay. This is a pinup, is a receiver. And this is the microphone, is the pinup mic. And this is the connector of the pinup mic. They are the same. So to do a good job with this, okay, with this, you connect this properly on the insert in. Now, if you've connected this, it looks calm, it looks good. But there's a reason they added a screw here. All right, this is a screw. There's a reason they added this. So what you need to do is to screw it in to be very tight. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. And while these both are connected, okay, is a good connection. I can pin this up on my clothes. Or you can pin it up anywhere. Okay, anywhere that is good and sustainable. Sorry, I can. So, okay. So I sorry. Wait, okay, sorry. Hmm? Please, I'll be right back. Okay, I can hear myself. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so like I was saying, this, all right, to connect it properly, I connect this. You connect this particular screw, has to be very tight, very, very tight. Whenever you're connecting any microphone, you have to make sure that the insert, or maybe the line one or the line two, has to be very tight, very sealed. Like when you touch it, you will not notice any shake, because if there are any shaking there, it may result to uh, uh, disruptions, like a distortions, like clips. White, it can create buzzing sounds, like where two opposite electric wires are touching each other. All right, so it can create that. So you have to make sure that every part of the microphone is well tightened up before you can transmit that to the receiver or the storage. All right, it's very important to know this. All right. Number three, number four, sorry. Understand mic placement principles. Understanding mic placement principles. Like this, we'll use this. We'll use this as an example. No, I'll use this as an example. Where I put this mic on my body determines the kind of sound I will receive. If I place it above my neck, or if I place it below my neck, I'll receive good sounds. If I place it on my um let me on my pants or my shorts, I will receive poorer sounds because sound travel by air. All right. So the closer the mic is to the actor or to the uh, 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 presenter or the interviewer or the host or whoever, the closer the better. Because when sound leaves the mouth, it has to impact the microphone before it travels out to any other place. That is why microphones are placed closer, or boom mics are placed closer to um the actor during filmmaking. All right. It helps with clean voices. If the mic is placed far away, it can result to echoes being recorded. It can result to ambiances, all right, being recorded at the same time, which you don't need that. The ambience, like I said earlier, the ambience should be recorded differently, all right, and the dialogue voices should be recorded differently. So to record the dialogue voices, the microphone always comes closer. If I'm using this microphone as an example, as a boom mic, it usually comes like this, something like that. So it has to be closer, all right, to the actor in a position where the camera will not capture it. All right. So doing so, before the voice leaves the actor and travels, the camera will pick up the first quality of vocal or voice. All right. Before the voice travels. It's important to know this. Mic placements, where to place your mic during filmmaking. It has to be closer and away from camera capturing. All right. And number five, record indoors and outdoors and reduce wind and handling noise. The same principle occurs here. All right. The same principle. If you are recording your audio in order to um in order to avoid wind noise or reduce ambiances, like I said earlier, mic placements are important in this environmental recording. That is outdoor recording. Mic placements are important, and also there are windshields that you could use. All right, and you could place it over your microphone. All right. Even the pinup also have some of them come with windshields, so you could use windshields also as a tool, as an external tool. It is helpful. All right. And if you use windshields, it repels the wind hums around your camera. All right. But there's a reason why the camera, the microphone is closer to the actor. All right. It is about wave structure. In sound engineering, there's something we call the wave level. If the wave level is higher than the noise level, you can control the noise in post production. You can have a clean voice without the noise. Because when you'll be treating voices out from a video, from uh from a shot, and the wave level is higher than the wave level of the noise, when you trim it down, you will notice that the noise wave level will go out first before the dialogue level would even elapse. So that happens when your microphone is closer to the actor. his voice will come out first and hit the camera in full force before it can travel, before any other noises is picked. So it's important to understand how to record indoors, mic placements for indoors and outdoors in order to reduce the wind and the handling of or repelling of noise. Okay, so the next uh, slide, we have microphone types. Um, we have, like I would say, the pin-up or the valali or the lavalier. This is the pin-up mics, small clip-on mics that captures dialogue and can also be hidden. All right, it can be hidden from the microphone. That is, you can also call it the stealth microphone. That's very good. And then the shotgun. All right, the shotgun. The shotgun literally looks something like this. It looks like this, but it has a pole. You know the way a shotgun is. I think if one is closer, so a shotgun. All right, is this way. Okay, okay. Let me use that. Thank you very much. Uh, it's something like this. All right, this basically a shotgun. All right, but it's a smaller shotgun. You have the bigger ones. Okay, on the smaller ones like this one. So a shotgun, uh, this is kind of way bigger. It's a podcast mic, but is a condenser. This is also a condenser mic. All right, and we have the handheld mic. The handheld mic are the ones you use in churches. You are familiar with them. Uh, is robust, is reliable, used for even for reporters. Reporters use it for street interviews and all that. You know, these are different types of microphones we have. The pin-up, I have one on my. This is also a pin-up mic. This one that I have here is also a pin-up mic, which is very good. It's wireless. All right. This one is has wire. All right. Lie. Okay. I also have this. Um, sorry for the shortcomings. This is your what do I this one is the one you are familiar with. All right, being the handheld mic. All right, you see reporters, journalists. All right, you know, holding this, having this. You see your pastors and churches, and maybe call government activities or all right rallies. You always see them with this. All right, it is why it is robust is what it does when when the receiver is connected to an amplifier, it boosts the sound that is coming from this microphone, this handheld microphone. Is very great in recording, in capturing environmental sound. Of course, not really for filmmaking, but you understand is a type of microphone that is available out there. I don't want to mix words. Some people actually use this in filmmaking when there is no other options and they are left. Maybe they had an accident with some of their tools and they find themselves with this. What they do with this is that they put on the filter on top of this, and then they add the windshield on top of it, and then they can now use this to record a movie scene in filmmaking. Is not the real deal, but it is an optional tool when you you have you are, experiencing fatalities and resources. All right. All right. So the pinup mics, which is the lavalier microphones, is best used for interviews, dialogue, and presentations, documentaries, or YouTube content creations. The advantages are hidden, close to mouth, consistent, and voice leveling. It does great in these aspects. And the challenges are the clothing rustle, visibility, wireless interferences. Everything that has advantage, of course, has a disadvantage. Is the nature of life. All right. This is best used for interviews, dialogues, presentations, documentaries, and YouTube content creation. While the shotgun, which is this, for an example, is best for film dialogue, control sets, narrative scene, sorry, narrative scenes. Sorry, I think we went off a little. We will be. We are coming back shortly. Okay. 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 So this is also key. The key feature of this microphone, the shotgun, it rejects side and rear noise, captures only what is in front of you. Just like the pinup mic, the lavalier mic, the pinup mic is it does similar things. All right. When you're mounting it, is often mounted on a boom pole operated by a dedicated boom operator. All right. It usually, some of them comes with this long pole. That is the boom pole. That's where you mount the shotgun, and then you use it for your movie recording. Great for movies. All right. Great for movies. So the handheld mic, which is this one, we also talked about, is great for reporting. All right. Events and books props. All right. Straight interviews and quick turnaround contents. All right. Or occasions like your church programs and rally programs and so on and so forth. This is good for it. Okay. The next slide, we have choosing the right microphone for interview. You have to choose the lavalier, the drama, movie, the shotgun. Streets, you have the handheld. The documentary, also, the shotgun comes in place and the lavalier also comes in place. Okay, which is very good. All right. Audio recorders. Audio recorders. Audio recorders are dedicated recorders. We have the Zoom H5, Zoom H6, Tascam DR 40X. The audio recorder is your storage, is your receiver. All right. Sorry, not the storage, is your receiver. Okay. And saying that this is an audio recorder. This right here is an audio recorder where you can increase the volume or record or pause or set timing, as the case may be, depending on what you're doing. All right, this is an audio recorder and also a receiver as well. In this, you can impute. This is where you impute your storage, because once it receives, it stores the information inside of it, which you can use for post production with this right here. All right. Your audio recorders are different. Comes in different types. Is of course you have in different types. Of course, you have the phone. Phones can record usable sounds with external mics. I told you earlier that the modern phones that are being released now have good microphone qualities. All right, good microphone qualities. Like I got the phone I got for myself recently. This phone is an Infinix Note 60. It has a good microphone quality. All right, and and it has good recording apps. Of course, you can download and also amplify, advance your recording further. It adapts. It has adapters and is with small interfaces. A practical option for low budget filmmaking. Mobile phones. All right, for low budget. If you don't have something you could record with, maybe you're starting to record or you don't have all the tools. If you can get a phone like this, it will help. It will go a long way. All right, it's this particular phone will go a long way for you. Okay. All right. Cables and connections. Cables and connections. I want to share this. So, all right. This we have here, this slide, we have cables and connections. All right. It's important you know this. Okay. Cables and connections. We have the XLR. It's a professional balanced audio cable, standard for microphones and recorders on film sets. All right. And we have the TRS or TRRS, a smaller connector for headphones and consumer devices. All right. For your headphones, all right, like the cords, this, all right, is it has a TRRS connector. All right. Then you have the USB-C audio. All right. It is an adapters for modern smartphones and laptops, essential for mobile production setup. Okay. Is very how do I put it? Mobile, of course. Is it gives you a hands-on, flexible advantage, of course. And the next slide, always monitor your headphone. Always monitor your headphones. Important. We talked about this earlier. When you step into a scene, you monitor your headphones or the environment or the kind of sounds that are around it. If you are not monitoring, you are guessing. All right. Always use closed back monitoring headphone like this or the bigger ones. All right. So it can filter off external noises. So you can now hear only what your microphones are showing, are giving you. Okay. Always use closed back monitoring headphone or never trust meters alone. Meters are good if you are skilled in it, but you can't just trust that alone. Listen to hums, of course, around, distortions, wind, rustles, and interferences. Your ears are your most important tools on set. Your ears, train your ears. I said it earlier, said it before. Train your ears. It's important you train your ears. All right, to the next slide. Distance and direction. Mic placement matters more than expensive gears. Mic placement matters more than expensive gears. The golden rule: get the mic close. I said it earlier. I said it earlier. When recording, your microphone should be close. When recording, this should be close. All right. But it will be in a way that the camera will not be capturing it, but it will be very close. All right. Take it up very close before when the voice comes out, it hits it. Is a condenser mic. The condensation will capture the voice, condense it down, and transmit it. All right. To condense is to thicken. All right. To condense is to thicken. That's what the condenser mic does. It has this magnetic technology inside of it. It thickens the vocal, which means it grabs the entire voice uh, um, quality and transmits it. Okay. Golden rule. This is a golden rule. It has to be very close. All right. And let me go back to the slide so we can follow up. Now, if your camera is too far, thin voice, more room echoes. I said that earlier. Loss of presence and warmth. You will lose all this. You will lose the presence. You will lose the warmth instantly. It is not a guessing work. It happens in that instant, in real time. Correct distance. If you are in the correct distance, you will have the clear, warm, natural sound with good signal to noise ratio. If you are too close, you will have the plosive and boomines. That is, you will have the distortions, harsh, unnatural sounds. We don't need that in our production. You do not need that. All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the next slide, indoor recording challenge. This um, is a sensitive challenge, which you all should indulge in it. All right. When you record indoors, watch out for echo and reverb, air conditioning noise, hard reflective walls. Hard reflective walls, because some walls bounces back voices. There are walls that bounce back voices, especially walls that are painted with oil paints or are being closed up with tiles, be it rubber tiles or ceramic tiles. All right. But if the wall is a plain emulsive paint, has a plain emulsive paint, and maybe it has a foam around it, it won't bounce the wall. It won't bounce the sound back. It will receive the sound and dampen it. It will hold it in and dampen it. It will not reflect that sound to your microphone. So whenever you're recording indoors, you have to be watchful of where you are. Is it a ceramic? Is the wall painted with oil paint? Is it enclosed, closed up with tiles, be it plastic or ceramic tiles? These are factors. These are very big factors to watch out for. All right. And the next is the solution. Use furnishing, soft furnishing, hang curtains and blankets. These are dampening agents. These are dampening agents. Record on carpeted floor, normal carpeted floor. If you are in a tile environment, it will bounce back. All right. That is where you use this. Um, that is where you could use this. You see this? The shotgun has this foam in it. All right. If you take this foam out, it will this microphone will start receiving every crank and every metallic sound around you, every reflection. It will start capturing all of them. But once this filter is on, it will dampen those reflections. The same with foams on the wall and all that. And if you now have a wind shield on top of it, it helps a lot to block out a wind sound. All right. So that is for this. Go back to screen. So move away from hard surfaces, ceramic tiles, plastic tiles, and so on, and oil painted walls. It affects your recording heavily. Is a major factor. It affects your recording. All right. The next slide, we have the outdoor recording challenge. Wind. The most destructive outdoor elements use foam windscreens, dead cat covers, cloth shielding, or body positioning to block wind from the capsule is important. Traffic and crowds. Use the microphones directionally, carefully, point away from noise sources, and monitor constantly. You have to identify where the noise is coming from and, and position yourself away from it. And position your camera, sorry, and position your camera away from it. All right. Birds and generators. Of course, you don't need all those sounds. Scout location in advance, identify and eliminate noise sources before rolling. Rolling is before recording. All right. So you have to scan your environments to know if there are other disruptions, other noises that can disrupt your recording in advance. The next slide, we have avoiding wind and handling of noise. Wind protection tools like foam windscreen, like I showed you, dead cats, blind blimp with windscreens, cloth shielding, that's a do-it-yourself, a DIY, body positioning, very important. Handling noise comes from touching the mic, cable movement, and bumping stands. Prevent it at source. Do not fix it later. Record it right, record it right at the first time. If you are recording and somebody touches um, um, if you are recording and somebody touches your microphone, if you're recording and somebody touches the head of the microphone, there's this blip sound it will make, this bumpy sound. Usually, sounds like poop, poop, poop. It's is disruptive. All right. If maybe something came across the microphones are not to be disturbed, like we said earlier, when you are recording, because any slightest mistake can disrupt that microphone, from having a clear sound recording. It will hurt your workflow badly. Okay. This is another practical activity. This is another practical activity. Mic assignment. That's number one. Identify microphone types and assign users. Interview drama scenes. Street vox pop. Explain choices. All right. You have to be able to identify your microphone type, like we said earlier, and know where to use it. Is it for a podcast, for an interview, for a movie, for a documentary? All right. That's where the lavalier pin up, that's the pin up, and the boom mic, and that's the condenser mic, and also the handheld mic. We went through that. All right. So connection tests. Connect microphone to a recorder or phone, test level and confirm signals. It's very important you do so. It's very important you connect your microphone to this to your receiver. There are bigger receivers, of course. There are different types of receivers. You have the ones that are like decoders, all right, depending on your budget. These are one of the small receivers that are out there in the market. All right. You have to have all this connection put in place and tested before rolling. That is before recording. And number three is distance comparison. You record dialogue at 6 inches, 2 feet, and 6 feet above the human height. Depending, there are some giants, of course, that when you're recording, there are some people who are very tall, and you have to increase the inches. Of course, when you are recording, they are seen in filmmaking or in interviews. If it is interviews, of course, you use your pin-up mic. You have to be able to identify in which places. That is why these are important. All right. So in number four, we have axis test. Point a shotgun correctly, then incorrectly, compare quality, and analyze why direction matters. You face your shotgun correctly, like so, or like so, as the case may be. Record and face it away, put it away, like so. Record again and compare. This will help you to open up your ears to identify sound distances or the lags or the directions that you are supposed that best fits voice recording. It will help train your ear in analyzing sound qualities. All right, that is why direction matters. All right, in the next um, slide, this is a demonstration exercise. All right, so this is basically where you record. I'll like record a line using three different setups: lavalier, shotgun, phone, internal microphone. Compare clarity, warmth, noise, presence. All right. So, like I'm speaking to you right now, I know you hear me. All right. Many of you hear me very well. But if I take off my microphone and I put it away, still talking, you notice the voice will change. Or you can still hear me, but it's different now. All right. If I'm taking it away, but I'm still talking. You hear me, but the sound quality is no longer the same. And when I put it on, the sound returns. All right. So if I say, I thought you would come back, and I thought come back, they are not the same because the distances differ the sound quality. All right. It affects the sound quality. So this is a kind of a short demonstration of how the sound works. All right. So the next slide. Shoot a 30 seconds dialogue scene following these rules. External mic, use an external microphone, no internal phone or camera. Room tone, number 2, identify room tone before or after the scene. Number 3, monitor with headphones throughout the entire recording. And number 4, submit the scene, a noise report, and an audio setup diagram. All right. You take out the time to put this down and run the exercise and submit it. External microphone, external mic, use an external microphone, no internal phone or camera mic. Number 2, room tone, record room tone before or after the scene to check the quality of the tone that is on the room. That is the scene. Number 3, monitor the headphone, monitor with headphone throughout the entire recording. And number 4, submit the scene, a noise report, and an audio setup diagram. Is important. Okay, I have some people saying the clear screen quality is we can please microphone check. Please anybody who cannot, if you cannot hear me clearly, please I identify. Okay, awesome. Someone said fainting audio. Okay, all right. Mm. What in whichever someone said it doesn't have access to external mic device. What can they do? What you can do, because this is an exercise that everybody has to participate in, you could also use what you have. All right, because this is an exercise, it's a training. You have to, this is to train your ear. All right, to be able to identify sounds or room tones. So feel free. All right, feel free to use what you have. Try it. For those who do not have, I'm basically changing the rules now, but feel free to use what you have and feel free to use what you have and run the exercise. Okay. The next slide. Um, Great sound makes audiences believe. Great cinematography may impress, but great sound makes audience believe. Film is seen, but story is also heard. All right. It explains what we are doing. It explains what sound is in filmmaking. All right. The sound tells you, it tells your emotion when to cry, or when to be sad, or when to be happy, or when to be angry. All right. Or when to be subtle. In any way, it positions your feeling, your emotions towards the movie. Okay. Let's do this way. Someone said restore the slider. It's divided and very tiny. Let's uh, uh, I think this. Let me. Okay, let's go for content only. Okay. Well, all right. The next slide. The five functions of sound. The five functions of sound. One, information. Who, where, when, what is happening is a function, is an information that is that spells out the who, the where, the when, and the what is happening. Sound gives off that information, and the emotion, the mood, the feeling, meaning through music and tone. Someone asked the question, "What is the best recording? What's the best flaw in recording a carpet or plastic?" I would say rugs because it dampens the recording, the audio recording. Rugs, anything that is foamy that has cotton in it. All right, it doesn't reflect sound back. It doesn't throw the sound back at you. That will make your microphone, have this double voices that are, fighting each other. All right. I will later on give out some tools. All right, write it out for you guys, and which you could use. Of course, this they are coming up. All right, our class has not ended. Easy. All right, rhythmic and pacing. Sound controls tension and editing pace. Fast, slow, high tone, low tone, mid tone. All right, it's controls these factors. World building, like we say, the ambient sound makes spaces believable, be it market, room, forest, the sky, airplanes, airport. Name the scenario or the scene where you are shooting. All right. Off-screen sounds and cinematic spaces. All right. Sound is a world building, gives it has a world building capability that tells the audience, even without looking at the screen, what is going on in that scene, on that scene. is very good. These are the five functions of sound. All right, the next slide, we have a diegetic versus the non-diegetic sound. The diegetic sound that exists within the story world. These are the sounds that exists within the story world. Characters can hear it. Those are the door slams, someone slaps somebody, a knife sound, a footstep, a car horn, airplane sounds, the things that the characters can hear. That's the diegetic sounds. Examples of radio playing in scenes, character singing, footsteps, ambient noise of location. All right, the non-diegetic sounds, sound added for the audiences only. Characters cannot hear it. Example, film scores, voice over narrations, sound effects added in post for dramatic effects. These are the diegetic and the non-diegetic sounds. All right, the role of film, the role of film music. Music can lead to emotion before dialogue does. Composers like Hans Zimmer, he's very popular and very notable. People research him. You can research him, um, research his works. Is important you do so. As a sound designer, sound engineer, research is your key ally in this business. Hans Zimmer and John Williams have demonstrated how a well-crafted score shapes audience and experience at a subconscious level, building suspense, signaling character identity, and driving momentum through entire sequences without a single word of dialogue. All right, music does this. All right, that's the emotion. It creates all sorts of sensible actions. Or all right, in films. All right, in movies. So it's important. Also, don't forget to um, um, research about Hans Zimmer and John Williams. And one of the pro tip, I do this a lot. Whenever I finish watching a movie, most of times as Hollywood movies, I during the credits, I seek out the music designers, their names, and then go over to search them on X or YouTube, and also follow up in on their works, what they are doing, to see how they are doing it, what tools they are using, what advanced tools or updated tools that they are using. All right. So, as a sound engineer, a sound designer, SFX engineer, is is advisable, is a great ability on your own end to pick up names of music producers or sound designers in every Hollywood movies, be it maybe you're watching Marvel studio movies or Paramount movies, name them after the movie is done, or Disney. These guys are great. Or this after the one a movie is done, seek look at the name of the credits of the sound designers, pick them out, write their names, search for their YouTube channels and their X channels and follow them up. They give classes on updated tools that they use. All right. They show you tools they use, their own skills, what they do, how they got this in this movie, and how they got this done in this movie. It helps a lot. All right. So that's a pro tip. And the next slide, Foley. Foley, the art of sound recreation. or temp music, as some of my engineering friends will call it. Foley artists recreates everyday sounds in post-production that were not captured cleanly on set. Named after the pioneer Jack Foley, this craft is essential to professionally film sound. Common sound, cloth and costume movements, footsteps, and various surfaces, key, coins, object handling, breathing, and body sounds. All right, to the next scene slide. Audio recording chain. This is an audio recording chain. All right. Understand each link in this chain helps you identify where problems occur and how to solve them from sources to final delivery. The source, that's the actor, to the microphone, to the recorder, where it stores, and then to the editor for post production, and then to the audience. Having this in mind, you know it gives you a roadmap on where you are going to or what you are trying to achieve. So you can you hold on to this. Don't forget this audio chain is very important. This audio recording chain is very important. All right, you can take a look at it again for about 10 seconds. Uh, Okay, to the next slide. Noise classification guide. Mechanical noise, human noise, and environmental noise. The fans, when the mechanical noise, we have the fans, air conditioning, everything mechanical, clamping, metallic. All right, electrical hum, where your wires are touching each other. This happens, like I told you, if you did not really seal the deal when you are tightening up. When you are tightening up your cord, your insert line, you have to tighten it up. You have to know it has to be sealed and hold firmly, or you get that electrical hum. In order to avoid it, you make sure you have that checked. Human noise, clothes rustling, handling noise, people talking nearby, breathing, environmental, wind, traffic, echo, room echo, birds, and animals. Next slide, we have the mono and the stereo. When to use each. When to use each. A single channel centered sound, that is a mono. Best for dialogue and voice recording. Best for dialogue and voice recording. That is the simple dialogue. Simple and clean. Good. But the two channels, that's the left and right, that's the stereo. Stereo is two. It creates width and space. Best for atmosphere, music, and environmental recording. If you're outdoor, you want to record an ambience. Stereo recording is good, is great for ambience. Stereo microphones and recordings is the technique used in recording in places like stadiums. All right, stadiums. You watch Premier League, you watch Serie A, you watch UEFA, La Liga, and the rest. These are stereo microphones. They have big sound engineers in those stadiums, and they are well paid. I mean, sound engineer is a job, is a full-time job. They are heavily paid there, and they use stereo recording to capture the surround. Some can go as far using uh, four angles of stereo recording. Some have six, some have eight, some have 10. depending on the setup, on the size of the arena that you're recording in. Okay, next slide. Recording room tone. Room tone is the ambient sound of a location recorded without any action or dialogue. The room tone. How is the room? Is it warm? Is it light? And is it noisy? Is it silent? All these are important to measure all of this out and before you go into your recording. It is essential for post-production. Editors use it to fill gaps between cuts and smooth transitions. Always record at least 30 seconds of room tones at every location before wrapping up. It's important. Maybe there was a place that the editor wants to cut out, and they cut out, and he wants something to still the room tone, the energy, the ambience to still continue. Recording room tones helps the editor in his work. It helps his workflow. Always try to record it before leaving any location is important. The next slide, we have the microphone pull-up patterns. We have the omnidirectional, the cardioid, supercardioid, and the hypercardioid. The omnidirectional picks up sound equally from all directions, good for ambient recording, but captures all noises in the environment. We're talking about we are now talking about the ambient, the stereo ambient recording, like the stadiums, for example. The cardioid heart-shaped picked up pattern captures front, rejects rear, common in handling in handheld on lavalier mics. All right, it picks up the pattern. It captures the front and it rejects the rear. That's when you place your microphone at the center, like so. Like you see this in podcasts when the microphone is at the front of the camera, like so. You have the microphone in front of them. This is cardioid. All right, and they are talking. Oh, do you know what happened the other day? And blah 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 blah, and all that and all that. That's the cardioid. The supercardioid or the hypercardioid, very narrow front pickup, used in shotgun microphones for maximum directional rejection of side noises. When it says used in shotgun, that is very narrow front pickup. A very narrow front pickup, which means it rejects side noises. When the mic is being placed, is placed, all right, in the front direction, like so, raised up, all right, is very close, and is especially it is used while it is usually used during close-up shots. When the camera is in front of you, close-up shot that cuts the camera from the from the neck, from the lower neck to the to the top of the head, and the microphone usually comes up. This supercardio usually comes up and is used in that format, which is great, and it gives you a better output. Okay. All right. The next slide, boom operation techniques. Boom above, hold the boom above the actor, angled down towards the mouth. I've been explaining this since this session started. Above, it is always above, outside the screen. All right, depending on the camera angle. If the camera is close up, if it's widescreen, they will tell you what, where, when. How, where, when you scout your environment before you start recording. All right, follow the actor's movements smoothly. Common mistakes: dipping into frame when there's a recording, and the next thing you will see, one camera will just come out, the microphone will come out, and then poop, It will come out again. Is a common mistake. It usually happens. I've seen it severally in shots in scenes. All right. Pointing off axis. You are holding the camera while recording, and somehow your mind flips and then it turns the other way. That's pointing off axis. Holding too far. You don't have to hold it too far. Remember, close is pro, is key. Not monitoring levels. You have to monitor your levels. Every receiver always have the level indicated in front of it. Is important, is vital to avoid distortion. Even as you are monitoring it on your headphone, you are monitoring from the monitoring levels as well. Is important. The next slide, we have the wireless lavalier system. Of course, I have one. I have a pinup, which you'll see here. I have pinup. This is a pinup. Okay. I have this is a pinup mic. All right. This is a wireless. And let me like so. This one is the pinup. You see, it has the magnet at the back. All right. So this is a pinup. Is a wireless pinup mic. The receiver is elsewhere doing doing his job. Is one of the issues you have with it. Sometimes putting it back is heartbreaking. Okay, that is settled. So wireless lavalier systems, you have one by the um, one by the talent, usually clipped to a belt or hidden in clothing, sends to the audio signal wirelessly to receiver. Is important. The receiver connects the recorder or camera, receives the wireless signal, and converts it back to an audio feed. The pinup mic is connected to the camera or phone via the receiver or the wire. If it is wireless, it has a receiver like this. This can be a wireless or a wire receiver. This has wire. All right. This is is a wired receiver because this is a pinup, and there's also a wireless receiver. All right. That doesn't need. It just receives the sound wirelessly. It is the signal is tracked by this. It is encoded inside. Mm, mm. All right. The interference risks. Wireless receiver can suffer from frequency interference. It happens almost constantly. Always test before shooting and have a wired backup. Is important because you might find yourself in an area where they are, maybe you are shooting in an estate, and then there are hundreds of wireless systems, from CCTV cameras to other dishes, cables, transmitters are there. They will be interfering. I have seen it. I have experienced it. So having a backup is important because if you are going to shoot with a wireless receiver, a wireless microphone, pinup, also prepare with the wired backup. Is always important. The next scene, certain audio level, target levels. Aim for peaks around 12 dBs for dialogue. Leave headroom to avoid clipping. Never let levels hit 0 dB. That is distortion. It is important you know it. In a scale of 1 to 20, you understand? In a scale of 1 to 20, you have to know this. All right? Hmm. Sorry. In a scale of 1 to 20, you have to know this. It's important. System is uh okay. Okay. Oof. Sorry. Uh, I'm having an event here. I'll be with you guys shortly. Okay, I think we are coming back. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay. All right. Okay, sorry. We're back. Target level. Aim for peaks around 12 dB for dialogue. Leave headroom to avoid clipping. Never let levels hit 0 dB, 0 dB FS. That is distortion. Once it clips, it zeroes out. That is on your monitor meter. It zeroes out. Now, the meaning of dB, because a lot of people will see this every time, dB means decibel. You used to calculate sound, the decibel of from here to there. If you know your mathematics is a simple, I'll call it a sound solution. All right. You used to measure your loudness or audio signaling, how loud or how strong your audio is, and it uses it uses a how do I call it, a normal logarithmical scale, or logarithmic mic scale is I don't know how do I put it, 10 dBs. Let me say if you increase the sound to 10 dBs plus then 10 dB, it will sound about twice as loud as the normal level of the sound. Remember when I said from a scale from of 1 to 20, that is the sound. 1 to 20 decibel. That is how the sound operates. All right. So a small change makes big differences. All right. Is if you do plus 2 or plus 3, and like normal volumes where you can hit from 0 to 100, and it will increase gradually. But in sounds, is from a scale of 1 to 20. So any small tuning tuning can spike the volume. All right. So you have to be wary of that. All right. Clipping occurs when the signal exceeds the recorder's maximum level. It creates harsh, irreparable distortion, sets levels conservatively, and uses a backup track at a lower gain if it is available. Some recorders have something and has a limiter already programmed into it. A limiter is a plugin that sound engineers also use, like me. I use it. Um, it's once you set it, it limits the amount of sound that goes to the stereo, that goes to the output. All right. So it won't cross a particular limit. All right. It's used for mastering sounds. That is in music, all the music you hear, there's always a limiter at the end of the output. It controls the loudness. If the loudness is distort, it will have distortion. The limiter controls it. So some of these tools, comes with the plugins programmed inside of it. So they help you automatically without you knowing. All right. Next slide, we have sound in documentary production. Documentary sound presents unique challenges. Environments are uncontrolled. Subjects move unexpectedly, like animals, people, birds, planes, wind, you know, stuff like that, trees. And there is rarely a second, and there's rarely a second take because nobody's on set. Nobody's about to say action. Nobody's at the receiving end to say action and they start moving. Nobody, you are not paying the entire crowd, or you're not paying the bushes, or you're not paying the animals. Nobody's listening to you. So you make do with the time and the skill you have. This is where skill is important. All right. Knowing how to control your environment. We talked about it earlier. All right. The lavalier microphone is the documentary filmmaker's best friend. Of course, it is. Providing consistent close-up mics sound regardless of subject movements. Always carry a backup recording device. Always. Do not forget it. Always. The next slide, we have sound in narrative film production. We have the 1 to 3. Pre-production, scout location for noise. 1. Plan mic placement. 2. Hire a sound recordist. That is what we are doing here. We are the sound recordist. Or if you are not the one, you are the one to direct the sound. As they have video director, they have sound directors as well. This class is also enabling you to become a sound director. All right, to be skilled in sound and also to be a sound director. It works both ways. 2. Production. Boom plus lavalier combo. Monitor constantly. Record room tone at every location. If you are using the lavalier, the pin-up mic, and you're having the boom as well, the boom records the ambience, the room tone, and the lavalier picks up the actor's voice at a close range. Now you now use the boom as the ambience, and you can control it. This is not when you cannot control it. Okay, you only have the main voice inside the ambience. No, you need to be able to control the voice separately, and you control the ambience separately. If it needs to go down, if it needs to come up in a particular place, you can automate it where you want it to come up, where you want it to go down. These are important skills you have to do. Number 3, post-production. Dialogue edit, Foley, SFX, music mix, and final audio mastering is also where your limiter comes in, your compressor comes in, your equalizer comes in as well at the end. Your how do I call it? Your multiband compressor, because you are dealing with a lot of sound and different dynamics. So multiband compressor is key. You can look up multiband compressor. Is very good in mastering audios after recording, after editing, post productions. All right, to the next slide. The sound department. Here we have it outlined very well. Sound department, you have the different classes. Production sound mixer, which is in the center, controls the boom operator sound utility, also controls the supervising sound editor. Dialogue, the supervising sound editor is like the director. It controls the dialogue editor, the Foley artist, and the music artist. All right. This is the table for the sound department. Okay. Now, the next slide, we have the do it yourself sound solution for low budget production. That's the DIY. That is the do it yourself. Smartphone plus external microphone, like you can see. They are like my smartphone here. This is a small condenser mic. I can connect this phone on this microphone on this microphone on this phone, using the clipper to connect it and then use it for production. And because I understand my sound, as we've been teaching you guys, you know what to do, which may TRL /liar, which is the cord, or the USB trans shotgun mic transforms a phone into a capable recording device. Because now you are no longer recording with the phone's microphone, you are now using the external condenser mic like this. Blanket boots, hanging blankets, and duvets around a recording space dramatically reduces echo and room noise. It dampens, it doesn't return, it doesn't reflect sound, it doesn't bounce sound back to you. All right, I've done this. This year is my 18 years of sound engineering. All right, so I have understood the dynamics and the how the sound works, the frequencies it operates. All right, whenever you have anything metallic, anything ceramic, anything oily that is on any space, it bounces sounds back. It does that everywhere. That's why I'm talking about duvets and blankets, which are foams which dampens, which are sound, receptors. Once sound comes into them, they receive the sound across them, and the sound does not return back. They hold it down. That is the dampening of the sound. All right. It does this dramatically. It dramatically reduces the echo and the room noise. Do it yourself windscreen. The windscreen, you can design it yourself. This one, this is the foam or cloth wrappings. Once you add a foam or cloth wrappings around the camera or microphone, all right, provides basic wind protection. You add this in and you cloth it around. You add a cloth around this space, not here, around at the top. Remember that there are receivers here. There are receivers at the edges, but you are blocking away that external wind that will be coming through here, through the sides, and now allow the main sounds to be coming at the point. That is why you have to point the microphone in front of the camera of the actor, or even if you're pointing it from the top, you also point this point at the tip at the actor as well. It helps collect the quality audio you need. The next slide is listening as a professional, as a professional skill. Listening. I talked about it. Whenever you come into any scene or anywhere or any environment, you have to be able to depict where the sound is coming from, or what sound is playing, or how is the room. If I clap now, I can be able to tell if there's a lot of echo here or not. Can be able to measure the amount of echo because once I clap, I listen to the distance of the sound where it travels to. If it doesn't travel far, that means there's a lockup. All right. There's a quality, a level of damp around where I am. I'm able to check it. All right. If the sound travels far, there's a lot of ambience and echo there. If it doesn't, you have lower, small echo. There's always ambience, no matter how little it is. There's always, you can't totally take ambiences away completely from voices. It's not done. There's always, is either the room tone, it's or the outdoor. There's always. The best sound recordists are the best listeners. They hear problems before they record them and solve them before they become permanent. Developing critical listening is a skill that must be practiced deliberately. Listen to the world around you with intention. Identify every sound in a room, classify it, ask, 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 is this signal or noise? Will this run a recording? Training your ears is important as learning your equipment. Training your ears, I said it before, you have to train your ears. It's very important you do so. All right. The next slide. Common mistakes in audio: not monitoring, mic too far, ignoring room noise, no room tone. If you're recording without headphones, means you discover problems only in the edits. That means you don't too pro. You don't need headphone. You don't really use your ear. Analyze the entire environment, which is not even wise for professional sound engineers. If your mic is too far, the most common mistake: distance destroys dialogue quality, the weight of the voice, the muddy, the dampness. All right. Get the mic as close as the frame allows. As the frame, remember, cut off the frame as it allows. Ignoring room noise, failing to listen to the environment before recording. Fans, AC units, blah, 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 rest traffic will ruin your audio. The clang, the noise, the metallic generator, they'll mess your audio up. You don't want to be there. I remembered something just now. You don't want to be there. Forgetting to record room tone levels leaves editors with no material to smooth cuts and fill gaps. That is why someone like me or editors who are in the pro versions level, sometimes if room tones are not recorded, we we listen to the room tones that were available on this on the um on the already recorded camera audio, and then we go online. Maybe you can find in YouTube, on you can use a Pixabay. All right, it's like you can on Pixabay and some other places. You can use a Pixabay. I'm writing it down. All right, I use go to Pixabay, and you can get some room tones. You can search for it. There are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of room tone sounds that you can get. And when you get them, you can find a way to layer them to be able to, you know, artificially create the room tone you need because you lack room tones. So the ability to, you know, to improvise is key. By not having AC sounds, it depends on the kind of AC though. If your AC is noisy, you turn it off. If it's a calm, cool AC, you leave it on. All right, that's it. All right, so the next thing slide: sound key principles. Yeah, sound for storytelling. Sound is story. Sound carries information, emotion, and world building, not just background noises. Depending on your sound, depending on your character, on what you are producing. Capture first. Good recording starts at capture. You cannot fix bad sounds in post production. Is a terrible thing to do. You don't want to be there. There's a reason why I am repeating this in slides. I repeated this in slides. Is if you don't want to go through what I have in the past, no, it's a bad experience. Always monitor. If you are not listening, you are guessing. Right tools, right place. Choose the correct microphone for each situation and place it correctly. It's very important. All right. The next slide, we have assessment checklist. All right. This assessment, this checklist, this is where you go through and assess, explain the importance of sound in storytelling with examples, identify dialogue, music, SFX foley, ambient sound in the film, explain how pitch, tempo, volume, silence, and affect emotion, sorry. Describe the audio recording chain for source to editor. Distinguish between mono stereo recording with examples. Identify and classify at least 10 sources of unwanted noise. Demonstrate correct microphone selection for 3 different scenarios. Record and compare dialogue at 3 different distances. Complete the mini production exercise with noise reports and setup diagrams. Do this in your own way, in your own iconic way. All right. It's not like a teamwork where I'm asking everybody to team up. Do this in your own iconic way. Your different everybody has a different way they see things. Do it in your own iconic way and find no find ways to produce as much results as you can. All right. It's important. All right. This is a summary slide. These are what we covered. Okay. We covered sound story, what sound, why sound is half of filmmaking, information, emotions, world building, and rhythmic. Type of sound, we covered the dialogue, music, that's the diegetic and not diegetic, diegetic and not diegetic, SFX, Foley, and ambient sound. The recording fundamentals, signal versus noise, audio quality, mono and stereo. Microphones, number 4, we covered the lavalier, shotgun, handheld, the selections, placement, and the techniques required for production practice. The indoor, we cover the indoor outdoor recording, wind protection and monitoring, and noise reduction. All right. So, film is seen, story is also heard at the same time. At the same time. Great cinematographers may impress, great sound makes audience believe. It the sound is the make believe of every audiovisual production. The sound is the make believe. If the sound is poor, um, it will be an ordinary. It will look like or sound like an ordinary roadside movie, and it's not good. All right, master your ears, master your equipment, master your environment. Very important, your environment. The audience will never notice great sound, but they will never forget bad sound. All right. So this brings us to the end of our session. Again, my name is Mr. Kelvin, and it has been a wonderful journey on this session. And I hope you guys are impacted with the knowledge so far. And I also hope and believe you guys will do well in the field and, make me personally proud because uh, unlike as a sound engineer, I love it when other sound engineers are doing good or doing great in their work. And one of the greatest tools you always need is research. Always research updated tools, always research new plugins. Always research new skills. All right. It is important. Thank you for, yeah. Thank you all. And always research new skills. Research, research, research. Research is important. All right. Is something, you know, somebody said this is the longest session they've because it's a sound it dives deep. It's like diving deep into the heart of of production, of visual production. Is the very heart, is the very, movement, of visual, of filmmaking, of audio visual. Very, very important. All right. So um that is basically it. And I would say, if it was Japanese, I would say arigato. If it was uh, the Mexicans, so mucho gracias. And we'll see you guys. I will see you guys in the next edition. Do have a lovely day. All right. Oh, somebody said it was not going to end. Are you kidding? Everything that has a beginning has an end, of course. Thank you. I'll Kadir, if I spelled your name correctly. Thank you. All of you. You guys are great listeners. You guys are awesome. Awesome. You guys are amazing. So okay, my linguistic years of experience. Years of experience, I can tell you that. All right. All right. Bye bye everyone. See you.